If you've just tuned in, we're here at FP Live at Restarter from the MLR Convention Center in Whitefield. And we have with us here today Girish Sharma from Accenture. Girish, would you like to tell our women a little bit about your role at Accenture?
Hi, good afternoon everyone. It's a real privilege to be here at the event at the venue side, but before I get into that, a quick brief on myself. My name is Girish Sharma. I'm a part of the Accenture team in India. In my role as the talent supply chain lead for operations, I manage all talent acquisition related work. Now more about the event. That's where we've been since about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm amazed to see the number of people who've come here. I'm amazed to see the energy, the panel discussion that we had a while back. I think the kind of energy the 300 odd people brought to the discussion, the kind of questions that they had on the mind, it was a very, very warm discussion where it was very heartening to hear that there's so many talented people who want to come back to workforce and they're just raring to go. They just need an opportunity and a venue to make it happen. So it's very exciting. Thank you.
Which is why we have companies like Accenture coming on board. Girish, can you share with us what is Accenture's association with Restarter and Jobs for Her?
Okay, so before I actually get into that part of the relationship with Accenture and Jobs for Her, it's good if I give some background because that's a much larger picture. At Accenture, we are very focused on our inclusion and diversity agenda. Women form a much talented pool which we find that can be tapped into easily, and if we focus on how are we facilitating restarters to come back, that's the journey that we started working on about a year back. We saw there were many qualified and capable people, women who wanted to restart their career. We incidentally also had some men who wanted to restart their career, but we were being met with the same output that at a certain stage they would get ejected out of the recruitment process. We did a deep dive, understood, and that's where we got associated to Neha and the Jobs for Her. We had our first joint program with the Jobs for Her in February of this year, where we started with an online event. We did a Facebook Live event where the head of HR, Rohit, and the head of operations, HR, Ritu Bhati, came on a Facebook Live event. That was the initiation for our association with Jobs for Her. Post which we did an online event. We got about 6,000 women who wanted to restart their career. We engaged with them. We brought the list down to about 600 of them. We engaged with those 600 people one-on-one. We had career advisors, people from our teams who had 2 sessions with each of those 600 women to understand what's their journey all about, where they are in their journey of coming back, and what will help them to get back to workforce. It was not about Accenture will hire you, Accenture will do something. It was just about knowing that landscape. With that, we had a in-person event, I think it was in April. That's where we got about 300 of those enthusiast people in a room, and that's where Neha was also part of that journey with us. We actually got to speak to the entire audience in live. We have the India operations head Ramesh Krishnan come in and talk to the people. We had senior people in our team, some managing directors come and speak to our people, this audience. And it was an amazing journey to realize that such high amount of energy and such high amount of passion for people who were wanting to come back. And it was also a good day for us that day when we had that in-person event where we handed out offers to 30 of those 300 women who wanted to start their careers. So we dovetailed that entire story by making a platform where we make something out of it. This journey that we've started, there are many steps. So one, we have solved the puzzle of understanding this landscape better. What we intend to do in terms of as we move forward and build is what are the kind of enablers that we can get into the picture for not only looking at who's scouting around for coming back, but it's all about further reinforcing to the policies and the flexibility that we offer to our employees. How is it that we have an element of customization which really helps Restarter have a strong restart platform? That's our journey on this platform.
That is so good to know. Furthering on that, Girish, would you like to tell us what does it take to work at Accenture? I'm sure a lot of our audience wants to know.
My personal experience. It's a very exciting journey to work with Accenture. I've been there for many years. I think the only thing that resonates is very exciting journey. Accenture is a meritocracy-driven organization. Irrespective of what gender and what other cuts, we are looking towards hiring the best of the people in the industry. We hire large numbers basis what our business requirements are, and we go after the best of the talents, be it in the campuses, be it in the lateral hiring, or be it in the senior level hiring. Inclusion and diversity. So the diversity part is not only the diversity in terms of gender, but it is also in terms of what is the constituent of the workforce, people coming in from different environment, diversity of ideas. We have a very strong theme in Accenture that we are currently pursuing, which is hashtag inclusion starts with I. Over there, it's all about how inclusive workplace we are trying to create. It's a place where you can be yourself, authentic yourself. People encouraged to come and start focusing on what your strengths are, where you'll be the most impactful, and work through the entire space of your supervisors and the chain to be in a zone where you are a high-performing individual. So that's how I would summarize Accenture as a workplace. We are a very sought after employer. There are a large number of people who would like to work for Accenture, and we just want to be sure we go after the best of the talent to be able to hire them.
And that couldn't be truer. Girish, would you like to delve on what the Career Reboot program is all about? Because then that can lead to what your advice to restarters, our women restarters out there would be.
Career Reboot program for Accenture is really about creating a specific focus on getting people who want to restart their career. We do it without really making a conscious effect. Also today, there are number of restarters who are there, but given the talent pool size and given that we were missing out on getting just the large number of people, this specific focus is helping connect the dots more closer so that we don't have people getting lost out in the cycle. We are somewhat to a certain extent able to connect dots which are closer to giving the flexibility or customizing to what the individuals might be requiring while they are arriving in a rework environment. So it's our attempt to try and enable more and more people that we are able to get in our workforce. So it's a kind of a customized approach to be able to solve for that specific part of the issue.
And is there any advice that you have for our restarters?
So I'm sure, and I'm picking up from the panel discussion that we had, there were many questions coming in. I'll just try and summarize a couple of takeaways which will help career restarters or people who want to get back to work immensely. One, I think have confidence in yourself. Having to renew the confidence after having taken a break is the single most biggest factor. Second, outside of that, I think it came across very clearly that you don't need to be apologetic to having taken a break. That was a decision, that was a priority that you serviced at that point of your time. Well, take ownership of that. Don't get into this mindset of, hey, I took this, now I want to do that. No, that's your personal preference that you chose, and you should be proud of being able to make that choice, because that shouldn't reflect in your mind, that shouldn't reflect in the conversations that you have. The third point I would leave the audience with is irrespective of the restart, people who are in a continuous job also have to reshape them in terms of their skills and the capabilities day in and day out. It becomes even more hard for someone who's taken a break. So the learning agility is a key component that a restarter should focus on. Their ability to learn, unlearn and relearn. They need to be far smarter in that zone for able to make a smooth transition. And of course, as I said, confidence is the single biggest factor. What would also help as a fourth parting point that I want to leave is that networking. How is it that you are leaning on to the ecosystem that you have? In the panel discussion, it also came out that talking about your fears and leaning on to your ecosystem will help you declutter the points that you have in mind, and you will come out as a renewed, fresh professional in a discussion where the chances of your success are far higher. The last point, sorry, I've said many last points, but this is really the last point. You will, while getting to the career reboot journey, you will come across many failures. There will be many interviews where you will be rejected. There will be many interviews, unfortunately, you will get to hear what might not be so pleasing for you when you're looking at comeback. My only submission is, how do you summarize? How do you do an analysis of the failure or the interview that you did not make through? Look at whether you mapped yourself to the right opportunity. Did you have adequate knowledge on what it requires to run that role? Did you leverage your network to get acclimatized to what the interview will be? Are you kind of active on LinkedIn and Facebook to connect to your to your network, to your community, to be able to leverage the larger ecosystem for you to come back? It needs to be a journey well thought through, well planned. So to me, a failure analysis would also help you build strength on the areas which will help you to jump onto a success. Thank you.
Those are some great insights from the man himself. You heard him. Look up the Career Reboot program on Accenture on their website. This is us taking off.